liberty, and justice for all.
Thank you all for being here. We'll start with 2.1. Discuss and possible take action on ordinance 20-06 on a third and final reading. Ordinance amending the fiscal year 2020 annual budget for the city of Springfield by amending certain general funds and utility funds and operating budget. Sir?
The lawyer just made it in, I want to make sure she's here,
Okay.
so nobody say we're not legal.
Do we have a motion and a second to discuss? Motion made by Alderman Hubbard, a second by Alderman Arnold. We need to amend this. That's correct.
Move to amend, yeah.
Okay. We have a motion to amend by Alderman Hubbard. Do we have a second to amend? Vice Mayor Harris has made a second. Would you like to speak on the matter?
Was it uploaded into their system, okay. So you should be able to see the amendments. We were just doing transfers, and even as late as a few minutes ago, to bring everything, all the line items into compliance. So those final amendments should be included in there. Oh, you didn't bring your computers?
We don't want to bring this.
Okay. Well, do you have a summary of it? Okay.
We basically are just settling up health insurance because the retiree health insurance line is over what we budgeted. So we're just moving savings out of other departments to cover those, move it to that department. So it's a bottom line zero effect to the general fund for total. And then it also had previous transfer from the industrial development fund to move that to the proper section of the financial statement. As far as the water fund, we have a budget for water capacity fees, and we went over that, and our budget is to move all the water capacity fees into that fund, and so we have an expense, and so I had to settle that up as well. It's a zero bottom effect to that department as well. And same with the wastewater fund, there's sewer capacity fees, and we're over that. We brought in more revenue, so we need to move more out, and so it's a higher expense. So I just grossed both of those up equally, so it's bottom line zero effect to that budget as well.
Of course, this is a housekeeping matter that we have to do every year.
At the end of the fiscal year, we settle up.
Yes.
Any discussion on the amendment?
I will go along with that. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? We're ready for a vote on the amendment. Anyone like to change their vote? Mr. Sneed. Okay. Record the votes, please.
Motion passed 6-0.
Okay, we're back on the main motion as amended. Any discussion? No discussion? We're ready for a vote. Am I moving too fast? Anyone like to change their vote? Please record the votes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. 2.2, discuss and possible take action on ordinance 20-07 on a third and final reading. An ordinance adopting the annual budget and the tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. Do we have a motion and a second? Motion made by Vice Mayor Harris, a second made by Alderman Hubbard. Any discussion?
Comment.
Sir?
I'm glad that we're not like our sister city at 34% tax rate.
Well, and Ms. Holt, thank you so much for being very conservative.
That we have to do it.
This is the reason that we are conservative, for rainy days, and we're in the midst of a rainy day with the virus. Any discussion? No discussion, we're ready for a vote. Anyone like to change their vote? Please record the votes.
Motion passes 6-0.
2.3, discuss and possible take action on ordinance 20-08 on a third and final reading. An ordinance rescinding ordinance 19-11 in its entirety and setting a new schedule of rates and charges for the Springfield water system. A motion made by Alderman Hubbard to discuss and a second made by Alderman Gregg. Any questions?
Comment.
Sir?
We had no choice. We have to move on with it, even though we have disgruntled people. We also have people who sort of in despair. But we had no choice, and I will not apologize for that. Support it.
Okay, any other discussion?
Comment.
Alderman Arnold.
I also want to just piggyback off of that a little bit and say that this is something that, you described in the last meeting as in the next 2 years, we'll be doing this, and then hopefully we'll be able to bring that rate down by potentially moving forward on this project now,
And we don't have a choice.
right?
Okay? Mr. Sneed.
I don't think it's gonna come down.
It just won't go up.
We won't continue. We've raised it for how many years?
Jacob
Number.
and Associates, when we paid them a lot of money to figure this out and tell us the current rates aren't even close
No,
to
sir.
what they said it was going to be or needs to be to cover the debt service.
Yes, sir.
So
That is true.
to say it's not going to go up is not accurate either.
No.
So what are we saying then, in the next 2 years? What can we predict?
The next 2 years were, according to the rate study, were going to be the ones that were the closest, and especially for sewer, it's the Wastewater Facilities Act that says that you have to have a positive net change at least every other year. The way it's looking now, we're probably not going to do that. So we already alerted the state that we will probably be in a situation where we might not be able to meet that. So they're aware, we've discussed it. So I guess what we're saying is, we hope we get to the point where we don't have to raise rates, but we certainly can't promise that right now. And certainly next year, we'll need enough more rate increases.
Okay. Thank you.
We've been in this situation for a very long time, so
As some of the debt drops off down the road, it will get better. But most of we're taking on the new debt now.
It's not in our lifetime. These are 50-year loans.
Well, 20 and 30 years. Most of them are 20,
They'll
aren't
get
they?
extended.
any more discussion? No more discussion? Mr. Sneed, were you finished?
Finish.
We're ready for a vote. Anyone like to change their vote? Please record the votes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. 2.4, discuss and possible take action on ordinance 20-09 on a third and final reading. A ordinance rescinding ordinance 1912 in its entirety and setting a new schedule of rates and charges for the Springfield wastewater system. Motion made to discuss by Alderman Hubbard, second by Vice Mayor Harris. Any discussion or questions? We're ready for a vote. Anyone like to change their vote? Please record the votes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. 2.5, discuss and possible take action on ordinance 20-10 on a third and final reading. Or ordinance amending the schedule of fees and charges for play at the Legacy Golf Course by rescinding ordinance 19-14 in its entirety and substituting a new schedule of fees. A motion made by Vice Mayor Harris and a second by Alderman Hubbard. Any discussion?
I'm just so glad to see this day, because there was a time when I was fussing, right, Gina? About golf course not.
Which time was that? Oh.
It's back in my wilder days.
Golf course is in very good shape. Any discussion? Well, okay, ready for a vote? My little machine keeps falling. Anyone like to change their vote? Please record the votes.
Motion passes 6-0.
2.6, discuss and possible take action on 20-11 on a third and final reading. An ordinance amending the fees of the Springfield Community Development Department by rescinding ordinance 88-09 in its entirety and substituting a new schedule of fees. Motion to discuss by Alderman Hubbard. Do we have a second? Second made by Vice Mayor Harris. Any questions? No questions? We're ready for a vote. Anyone like to change their vote? Please record the votes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. 2.7, discuss and possible take action on ordinance 20-12 on a third and final reading. A ordinance amending the City of Springfield zoning ordinance, Chapter 13, Sections 11-1305A, 11-1306B, 11-307C, and Chapter 14, Section 1403.4, G 1 and 2. A motion made by Vice Mayor Harris and a second by Alderman Hubbard. Any discussion on this third and final reading? We're ready for a vote. Anyone like to change their vote? Please record the votes.
Motion passes 6-0.
I appreciate you being here when we have a budget for July 1st. Appreciate all your hard work and all the department heads and all the staff.